Katie Couric gets publicly embarrassed by new boss. Karma keeps receipts, so you get what you basically deserve. Here is another journalist getting flushed down due to improper comments, talking nonsense and spreading hypocrisy. After leaving CBS and receiving $20 million a year from ABC for leading a disaster show, finally in 2013 Katie Couric ended in Yahoo! She made many interviews with Yahoo Online, and now reportedly after Verizon took Yahoo and renamed it into Oath, this woman is about to leave the large corporation for good. Breitbart reminded us about this woman's biggest mistake. She lied big in her gun control documentary, which with it tried to make it look like respondents were stumped by her questions about gun control. The Virginia Citizens Defense League, VCDL, filed a $12 million defamation suit in September of 2016, which a district judge later dismissed. There is a rumor that after leaving she will work on National Geographic documentaries and that she will continue to host her online cooking show. She was not adored among colleagues as well, and many of them described her as an awful person and despised her. If this is true, believe many will not even miss her. People around say that she needs to go out of the journalism world for good because she has zero quality and integrity. It is good to see after all this time how another liar is crumbling down from the propaganda ladder led by the liberals. House Republicans deliver the worst news to lynch Comey and Clinton. As all of us know, President Donald Trump is under investigation for his alleged connections with the Russians during the 2016 elections. Also, Robert Mueller was appointed as the special counsel for this investigation. However, Republicans of the House Judiciary Committee are now asking for a second special counsel who will investigate other people for the ties with Russia, such as former Attorney General Loretta Lynch, former FBI Director James Comey, and former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. The Republicans even drafted a letter to the current Attorney General Jeff Sessions and Deputy AG Rod Rosenstein on Thursday. Breitbart reports the letter comes on the heels of a Thursday announcement that the committee has approved an investigation of its own into these figures. That investigation is slated to include a probe into ex-director Comey's leaking of his conversations with President Donald Trump through a friend and law professor Daniel Richmond, and alleged improprieties in former Attorney General Lynch's handling of the investigation into then-presidential candidate Hillary Clinton's private email server. It was Deputy Attorney General Rosenstein, one of the letter's addressees, who made the initial appointment of Robert Mueller as special counsel to investigate Russian interference after Sessions recused himself from oversight of the probe. Lynch, Comey, and Clinton are already under investigation. However, Republicans want them to receive the same treatment that Trump is receiving. They want a special counsel appointed for their investigations. The Republicans explained why they want another special counsel in their letter drafted to Sessions and Rosenstein. Breitbart reports, many Democrats and members of the Washington media previously called for a special prosecutor to investigate Russian influence on the election and connections with the Trump campaign. Not surprisingly, once you actually made the decision to appoint a special counsel, the calls for further investigations by congressional committees continued, focused on allegations that have heretofore produced no evidence of criminality, despite the fact that over a year has passed since the opening of the original FBI investigation. All the Republican members of the committee signed the letter in which they are calling for a second special counsel who will look into Lynch's order directed to Comey to mislead the American people for the Clinton investigation, former Secretary Clinton's mishandle of classified information, as well as the connections between Clinton and foreign entities such as Russia and Ukraine. Republicans also want the second special counsel to investigate the wiretapping of President Trump and the leaks of the identities of his associates, as well as all the information that Comey leaked to the media. If Trump can be under investigation for the alleged Russia connections, it's only fair that others such as Comey, Lynch, and Clinton, who actually violated many laws, should be investigated by a special counsel. Do you agree? Ben Carson just horrified Paul Ryan with what he just leaked about Trump. Ever since Dr. Ben Carson took the helm of Department of Housing and Urban Development, he's been living a quiet life. There's a lot going on in the administration, but he managed to stay in the background. Although he's been one of the highest profile nominees in President Donald Trump's cabinet, Carson is maintaining the lowest profile. He really likes the way he lives right now. Washington Examiner reports, let me put it this way. I'm glad that Trump is drawing all the fire so I can get stuff done. There's no question that I've been forced to learn very rapidly a lot of stuff. But that's okay, Carson said. I happen to have some excellent people around me at the non-assistant secretary level, at the non-deputy secretary level. Everybody's doing 2 or 3 times more than they ought to be doing. Carson is a fast learner. He proved many times that he is very good at his new job. Also, he said that he collaborates with the White House to pick people for the posts in HUD. The nominees should be announced at the end of the summer. Despite their differences, they managed to compromise. Although Carson is not pulled into the Russia mess, he said that Trump is fighting back and the White House must hire new people to fill the positions in the federal government. Washington Examiner reports, I think they've done well given the level of frustration. I mean, can you imagine you've been elected president and the only thing anyone wants to talk about is Russia? Can you imagine how frustrating that is? Carson said of the White House. People say he's wild with his tweets and things. I think he's pretty restrained under the circumstances. Carson feels bad for the president because everyone is asking about the alleged connections with Russia and nobody wants to talk about what Trump has achieved since he took the office in January. However, the talk of the week is the Obamacare, and Russian ties are in the background. According to Carson, the problem with Obamacare is that it was done by only one party. There should be a bipartisan deal that both parties can agree on. Washington Examiner reports the goal is really to get these people off the streets where they're in danger, and where they actually cost society more than if you go ahead and take care of them, Carson said. We also have to think about the fact that every single human being has potential, and I look at them as human capital, and if we develop that, we're talking about them becoming part of the engine, and if we don't develop it, part of the load. Carson has stayed out of the spotlight and dedicated his time on his new job. He's determined to help all the homeless people in America. When asked about his relationship with Trump, Carson said that he has a very kind heart and that there are no problems in their relationship. Behind Trump's tweets and his reactions, he's very kind and not everyone can see that. Washington Examiner reports, for now, Carson says he intends to remain behind the scenes and allow Trump and others to soak up the spotlight. The biggest change for him may be people calling him Secretary Carson rather than Dr. Carson, with one major exception. When my wife tries to get my attention, she now says Dr. Carson. He jokes. Thank you, Secretary Carson, for saying all of this. Some people needed to hear this. Hopefully, they will change their minds about the current president. Rush Limbaugh exposes Trump's true enemy, and sadly it's not Dems or media. When he announced his presidential candidacy, many Democrats thought that he will never be in charge. After seeing how serious he was, they did anything possible to sabotage him because they know what kind of man he is. Trump is now the President of the United States, and still, after 8 months, Democrats together with the mainstream media do anything in their power to take him down and end his presidency. Rush Limbaugh is one honest man and for several times had Trump's back. According to him, reports you conservative, liberals and the mainstream media are not the biggest enemies Trump has. He thinks that Trump needs to be careful and should be paying more attention to his fellow Republicans. Especially after what happened with Obamacare. Limbaugh started with, "Now, stop and think here, folks. Back when the only element that we had was the House of Representatives and Republican voters were constantly saying, why aren't you doing more to stop Obama? Why aren't you trying to do something to stop Obamacare?" The answer was always, well, all we've got is the House. We can't get anything through the Senate because the Democrats own the Senate. Obama's in the White House. He'll veto anything if it did make it there, continuing with, and what did Republicans do with what they had been asking for all along? Why, nothing, of course. I saw a Wall Street Journal story about how the Republicans in the House, they just can't. It's just impossible. They're pulling their hair out. They don't know what to do. They just can't find a way to cut any taxes. Because every time they cut a tax over here, they have to find a way to make the money up over there, and they just can't. Somehow this man is right. The Republicans are the ones who say how change is needed and withdraw at the same moment a vote for that change is required. He needs to keep his most trusted people around him and make a plan how to expose those who are against him for who they really are. Melania humiliates Hollywood liberal who attacked President Trump. Liberals are never satisfied that their attacks against Trump have not gone far enough. They are so blinded by rage that they will go to any lengths to try to ruin Trump and his agenda. They are terrified, and while it doesn't excuse what they do, it does explain why they are so hysterical. Advertisement: so blind they will take things out of context to launch spurious attacks and outright fabricate stories to inflict maximum damage. And I am just talking about the media. When we enter the Hollywood realm, we are at a whole new low. 1. J.K. Rowling attacked Trump for snubbing a boy in a wheelchair at the White House. It was false, as Trump and Mike Pence and Melania herself spent a lot of time with the kid. Rowling jumped at the chance to attack Trump anyway. Trump imitated a disabled reporter. Now he pretends not to see a child in a wheelchair, as though frightened he might catch his condition. J.K. Rowling, at JK_Rowling, July 28, 2017, my mother used a wheelchair. I witnessed people uncomfortable around her disability, but if they had a shred of decency they got over it. 1/J.K. Rowling, at JK_Rowling, July 28, 2017, so, yes, that clip of Trump looking deliberately over a disabled child's head, ignoring his outstretched hand, has touched me on the raw. 2. J.K. Rowling, at JK_Rowling, July 28, 2017, how stunning, and how horrible, that Trump cannot bring himself to shake the hand of a small boy who only wanted to touch the president. 4x, J.K. Rowling, at JK_Rowling, July 28, 2017, Melania let her rant and rave and spew venom about her husband. And then, with more class in her pinky finger than this Hollywood liberal has in her whole body, she humiliated her with a behind-the-scenes shot Rowling was not privy. Megyn Kelly loses NBC show for totally predictable reason. It's official. America is just not that into Megyn Kelly. After setting yet another new low for her Sunday show, NBC is pulling the plug. Putting Megyn out of her misery, so to speak. Advertisement. According to Breitbart, the first-year run of Megyn Kelly's Sunday news magazine show is getting the axe at least 2 episodes earlier than planned because of the horrific ratings. Last Sunday night, Megyn Kelly set another viewership low with just 2.71 million total viewers. In the final 3 weeks, her show has failed to beat the years-old Dateline rerun NBC ran when Kelly took a week off. Humiliating is one way of saying it, you're fired is another. Now NBC executives are saying they want Megyn to focus on her morning show debut in September, and sources say they are very worried that Megyn could take down that massive hit The Today Show with her. And how can they not, after what she did last week when she blamed her 9 at the time new low, on NASCAR? She was not able to attain a measly 3 million total viewers this week. This is yet another pathetic, new low for her Sunday night news show. Her ratings are in free fall, and it's pretty funny to see. The Brickyard 400 race, one of NASCAR's most legendary races, was rain delayed and loaded with cautions, so Kelly was not in her typical 7 p.m. slot. She was relegated to the 9 p.m. spot, but wasn't able to hold over some of the NASCAR audience. Sunday Night with Megyn Kelly only pulled in 2.71 million viewers. This beat her previous low of 3.1 million viewers, which was the previous week's viewership. Nielsen data is continually the bearer of bad news for the once famous news personality. She actually failed better in the 1849 demo, getting a 0.5 rating compared to her 0.4 rating the previous 2 weeks. But, as it has been widely reported, Her being gone for a week like she was a few weeks ago made people realize that they didn't miss her at all. Kelly enjoyed a week off during the 4th of July holiday weekend, and she has not been able to beat Dateline reruns, and that is sad. Dateline reruns are beating her in total viewers and the key demographic. Since Kelly's return, she has achieved 3.21 million total viewers, followed by 3.1 million total viewers, followed by 2.71 million total viewers. Though her show aired 2 hours later this week, it yet again received a lower viewership than reruns of 60 Minutes and America's Funniest Home Videos. Part of it could be because of Game of Thrones, but that isn't known yet. Kelly's disastrous ratings, in addition to giving Matt Lauer job security, have led executives to wonder whether her Sunday night program will even come back on the air after football season. Advertisement: share this if you think Megyn Kelly will lose her new NBC show in short